Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hey, everybody. That's right. It's Tuesday night, 4/23/24. I am one of your hosts, Blaze Man. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. To the way we see it, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about whatever this, and we're going to be talking about whatever that, and we're just going to talk about it, okay? We're going to be talking about the Bruins screwing up the goddamn game last night. We're going to talk about how the Red Sox sucks. We're going to talk about the Karen Reed murder case, okay? We're going to talk about the shameful thing that's going on in the United States of America with anti-Semitism in colleges up the UR, okay? With that, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the rest of our panel in my boy, Mr. D. What's happening, buddy? What's going on, pal?
Another day. I'm a little bit ready to go,
You're
man.
excited, huh? You're excited. I'm excited too. We got a lot to, to talk about there.
Yes, sir.
That's just the best I can say there. With tons to talk about. And I don't know what I did with it, bro.
What's that? The intro to the one and only?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he could do it himself this
Probably.
time.
Should be there. No.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we get an intro. We usually have like a funny intro for my boy B here, but for some reason it doesn't be showing up on the board. But ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce the man, the one and only. He's going to tell you everything about himself right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. B. You can talk. Get that out of there. Look at him.
How we doing, boys?
Dancing, man.
Are we having fun today?
How's it going, B? How are you, sir? How are
Outstanding.
Somebody's in a good mood today, but you don't want to sing loud enough so people can't hear him. He's a scary bastard. I'll tell you that right now. But so B, getting a little bit crazy with the protest, especially Columbia University.
You know how many universities are involved?
I think at least 8.
Higher. I believe at this point. I believe there's about 15 or 16 of them that are involved right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's the majority located? Quadrants of the country, northeast.
It's all over the place. There may be a concentration in the northeast, but it's across the nation. They're out in California. They're Rice University. Rice? Come on.
What is?
Rice is a Christian university.
Thank you, D. Thank you.
Yeah.
So go ahead, B. We're listening to you, buddy.
No, I have one quick question for Mr. B before he goes. I was just like that little swaying you were doing and singing. Did you watch the Lawrence Welk show when you were a youngin', when you
I didn't have to wait for my grandparents, but yeah, I saw Lawrence Welk show. Yeah, why? I'll tell you what, that's a wonderful thing, friends.
Nah,
Oh
this
man,
Now here's something from
me.
our friends at X-Lex.
That's messed up, D, because I actually watched the Lawrence Welk show too with my mama. So
yeah,
did you
no,
ever?
no, it's
Did you
just
ever?
he was
Did mom ever be
swaying.
like curious and go, "What's this?" And oh, before you know it, you're
Well, she did, but
watching.
she only did it with my father, and the lights were low in the hotel room.
Oh my God! Oh my God, B.
Yeehaw!
The greatest thing I've said about my mother in years.
Was the Hee Haw show part of
No.
Lawrence
That
Welk?
was
I
No,
mean,
Hee
that was
Haw
an
was its own
individual.
show. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I them two just come together like one played and then the
Hee
next
Haw
one
was
Right.
played.
Lawrence
They
Welk for
were
the
all
What was
brothers.
together.
that? What was that
Samaria.
tune? What was that tune that both dudes did on Hee Haw?
Well,
Oh,
where
where
are
are
you
you
tonight?
tonight?
Why
Why'd
did you
you
leave
leave me
me
here
here
all
all alone?
alone? I
I
searched
searched
the
the
world
world
over
over
and I
and I
thought
thought I
I found
found
true
true
love.
love.
You
You met
met
another,
another and
you were
you were
gone.
gone. Woohoo! Right, me baby, right on time,
I see
baby.
if Hayseed were here, he'd be crying in his milk right now over it because he's missing me.
No, he'd walk away from the camera and go, "What are you guys doing? Stop that! What are you doing? Stop that!"
You know, you hear
Yeah.
banjos and you think of his sister, but you know,
Ooh, that's what I gotta get. I gotta get one of those ooh sounds
sorry. I shouldn't be doing. He's not here to
to defend himself.
defend himself. No, I shouldn't be
I don't
saying
know. He could be watching right now and drawing a fucking bullseye on it
these
with
things.
your face right in there.
Bullseye. It's going to be a laser
So
sight. It's going to be.
it's gotta be it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's
no,
go
go
ahead,
ahead,
boys,
bud.
man. No, I really want to dig into these protests and stuff. Are they legit? Obviously, we all know they're looking for attention, but where is the gauge at with these protesters when it comes to violence? You know, when are the authorities going to step in and say, we're hurting people
See, the
now?
Well,
one big problem with the
Stupid game.
authorities is, for some odd reason or other, America has seen fit to take away their bully clubs.
Well, I have to disagree. I never was for that, anyways. B. So
What's that, Blaze? What would you never for?
police brutality. Now watch my brother Jimmy suffer with that shit. So it's never good. Go ahead, B. Continue. This
What?
is your thing, B. This is what you've been covering: the protests and the
Yeah, well,
Palestinian thing.
there are universities all over the place, and one of the things that they've been pointing out is they're having these little tent cities at these universities on the.
Well, that's Columbia.
As well as,
Columbia,
no,
Columbia's got
no.
one of those built too.
Not just Columbia, but all of these different ones in New York and whatnot. They're getting these tent cities coming. And guess what? They all have exactly the same different sets of tents. All of them. Where did all of this come from? They didn't rush the store and go to the big sporting goods and get 15 or 20 or 30 of the green tents and 5 of the orange tents and 7 of the blue tents in each individual college town or whatever else, did they? No. There's more to this story. And people start
But it's just not.
signs that have been laid out. These are things that you would have to go and offset print. Would take a week to get things set up and printed and all of that stuff, and they're handing them out overnight.
Of course, they have backing. B. We don't know who it is. Well, we talk about it here on the show with George Soros. You know, he's good for this. I mean, this guy is on tape saying that he would do everything he possibly could to destroy the United States from the inside.
Yeah.
So, it's not surprising, but it's a little bit more than protesting for me. And see if you can help me out with this a little bit, D. I'd appreciate it. All right. How many out of abroad? Okay. Of course, we're not going to know the exact numbers, ladies and gentlemen, but many of these students do you think actually know what's going on? Because I understand having a protest to, like, free Palestine for those people, Palestine people that, like, want to be free, just want to live their life, right? But what these protesters, I don't believe that they understand whatsoever, okay, about what Hamas does to the Palestine people. Okay, I don't think that they do, D. If you could help me out, I don't think that they understand that, D. I don't think that they understand, D, that Hamas controls that part of the territory of the Palestine. Okay, they control it. They tell people what to do.
But okay, so let's stop the press and let's stop fooling, the Hamas
Right?
and
Let's.
Palestine separation. No, and I'm being serious. They voted Hamas in as a
Right.
political party to run their little state.
So-called voted in.
Yes, but let's get back to the Palestine people and the Hamas. So if an IDF guy sees a Hamas soldier out there in the woodline, he's going to neutralize the threat. We have individuals, and I know this may sound childish, screaming, "I am Hamas." Those are serious fucking words.
In
man.
my opinion, if someone walked up to me and said, "I am Hamas," you know what I'm going to do?
Punch him in the nose.
No, I'm going to do better because what is Hamas? They are terrorists. And the terrorist runs up to me and starts screaming at me, "I'm Hamas." You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my pistol and defend myself.
Oh, B, what is it with you right off the top? You're killing people.
It needs to be done. I'm not going to take a chance, pal. Thank you very much. When people resort to flying planes full of innocent people into buildings or driving cars down roads and plowing into parades and whatever else full of innocent people and whatever else, you think I'm going to take a chance? No. I want to stay above the dirt as long as I can. If someone runs up to me and says, "They're Hamas," guess what? You fuck with the wrong Jew.
Well, I can understand that, buddy. I can understand your feelings there, but I just think that, like everything else, that a good 90% of these college kids, I don't know how, but they're being misinformed. I really believe that. I do.
You know what question I would really like answered, and you're not going to get nothing answered. I'm sorry, guys. I want to know these protesters at these universities that are screaming "death to Jews,"
Right.
"death to America," and all this other shit. I want to know how many of them are on visas, and if they are on
Boom,
visas,
you're out of
guess what?
here, and you fucking get expelled from the college.
A quick question.
Right? Is that what you're going to say, bro?
A quick question.
Yes.
Do either of you find it interesting that this seems to have been timed to launch right at the time of Passover?
I don't know, B. I don't think so. Go ahead, D.
No, I don't think so either. But here we go, the big H word again, and it's not for me to go next, Blaze, on your private chat. History. We just killed 6 million Jews. I say we because we were all, whoever was on this earth at that time was just as responsible.
Well, we witnessed it.
Clearing up that mess. And B, you're pretty good on history dates. So I'm thinking the 30s, late 30s. You probably have the year. That's when Hitler was starting to get the wheels rolling on executing.
No. These things all started long before 1939, my friend.
Well,
they had things like they had Krishna.
We don't have the time for that, though, B. And we all know that it started way before. But I really think that some professor in one of these colleges that is like has an independent mind or whatever, and anti-Semitism and kill the Jews is not, it's not something you say or do. Okay. And I think, really, honest to God, that he should show Auschwitz camp, okay, where not only these people were working the machines and the ovens to kill their own people. You see them in a line. You see these people walking down in the tunnel, and all you see is ashes coming out from the goddamn top of the smokestack. Okay? Your goddamn kids don't have a damn idea of what genocide is, or have a goddamn idea of what genocide is. Okay? When these people got captured by the Nazis, they knew exactly what their life was worth, and that was this: zero. That'd be.
Well, yeah. I have to say you've got the lion's share of it absolutely correct. There were people who did whatever they could to make themselves important enough to be left alive.
Right.
If there's a wonderful documentary program that was run by the BBC back in the 1970s called World at War. And they were interviewing some people who were operating one of the camps. I believe it was from Auschwitz. And the fellow who was a Jewish fellow who said he was there leading the people into the gas chambers or whatever else and taking the bodies out when they were there. Why? Because if he didn't do what they told him, he was the next one to go inside that oven. He did whatever he could to stay alive. And there were plenty of other people who did whatever they could to keep from getting exterminated by the Germans, doing whatever they could to stay alive.
Right.
But the stench, the disease, the harm, the beatings, the starvation, all of the things that happened. These kids today, they're being led around by their nose and being told, "Oh, none of that ever happened. It was all just." They'll just show you cartoons or something. It's not real. It never happened. And but this is genocide. We're watching the people who threw the sucker punch turn around and now try to run behind their father's leg and say, "Hit me," to victims, and they're not. They're getting what they deserve.
B's getting excited.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
All right. So before we continue, let's watch about 3 minutes of this, okay? And everybody who's tuning in right now, and we're looking pretty good right now. We're running at a 720p, okay? And let's just take a nice peek of what's happening here, and what these younger generation. I don't know if they don't talk about this in history books at school anymore, do they? No. They want to make it. They want to make it a point to talk about history in a bad way, as far as slavery and stuff, right? They should put that in the mix. Let's watch. If you got a sick stomach, I wouldn't stay. Give me a second, folks. Here.
Tell them what's in the picture.
That's the gas ovens. That's the ovens.
Okay, on the right-hand side. What's on the left-hand side? You know what that is?
Yeah, bones.
Yeah, those are
bones.
Human bodies, or the remains of human bodies.
Yeah, I think we could all see that. Let's take a listen now.
Bodies in 24 hours, and these began to be used to kill even though 3 ovens.
Sorry, folks. Here we go.
Used to transport prisoners of war. Rudolf Hess would also order the construction of a crematorium, initially intended to be used as a way to burn bodies of executed prisoners or who had otherwise died. But by May 1942, 3 ovens had been installed which could burn 340 bodies in 24 hours, and these began to be used to kill even those prisoners who were alive. In this way, the crematoriums would become a symbol of the ruthlessness of the Nazi regime and their disregard for human life. The Nazis would continue building chambers like these and would construct a total of 5. When Himmler visited the camp in March of 1941, He ordered that the camp be expanded to ensure that even more victims could be sent to Auschwitz. This resulted in the construction of a second camp in close proximity to the original camp called Auschwitz II Birkenau, and it was completed in October 1941. The original camp could hold about 15,000 prisoners of war, while Birkenau could hold more than 90,000. An astounding number, which showed how the Nazi regime was just getting started, and which made sure that Birkenau would become the site of countless atrocities against the human race itself.
All right. So, I mean, that's just a tidbit. 90,000 prisoners sent to their death. What do you think what was the status of the Nazi regime at one of these camps? D, what do you think it was? Like a platoon, or not a platoon, or
To operate the facility?
Yes, sir. Sorry,
it's probably
Lunga.
no, it's all right. Probably a company worth of men and women.
Right, and this thing, it would have to be run as a small town.
But bro, you weren't providing the basic necessities for a human what they needed.
Right. I apologize. You're right. Yes, you're right.
Them 100 soldiers. All they got was bread and water, and that bread was molded. Great movie, Band of Brothers. Well, it's a series. And
and I would watch. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
I got excited about it. That's why. Yeah, and I would watch like the last few episodes of it because it gets right to it. You know what I mean? It shows you a good, a good idea as far as the movie goes on what this is like, and these kids don't have a goddamn idea, And speaking of these foolish children, here we go.
Us now is Parker DeDecker, a freshman at Columbia University who has temporarily left campus until it's safe to come back.
He's
Parker,
Jewish.
thank you so much for joining me during what's been a very dark hour for the Jewish community. The images coming from your campus are alarming. How are you holding up?
It's been difficult. This is never something that I would have expected for my freshman year of college, let alone at the institution that I'm attending. I chose Columbia University because it was promised to be a safe haven for Jewish students, an area that fostered cultural diversity for people regardless of their background. And yet, here I am at a university finding that regardless of my political opinions on any of these global issues, my openly Jewish identity that shows through wearing a yarmulke or a Magen David necklace is a talisman for hatred on our campus.
Yeah, I know the last 2 weeks have been anything but safe for you. I understand you yourself were a target of anti-Semitism, harassment on campus just last week. Walk us through what happened to you specifically.
So it began last week, Wednesday, after the beginning of the encampment in the evening. I was actually heading over to our campus Chabad for an evening community event that our rabbi had organized to support students after everything that happened with President Shafiq testifying in front of Congress that day. As I was walking over to the Chabad building, still on main campus, I was targeted and yelled at. Said, "You keep on testifying, you effing Jew." And this was very unraveling. And actually, unironically, my friend had sent me a message 30 seconds after telling me to take off my yarmulke because it was no longer safe on campus. These outside protests out in front of the gate on 116th and Broadway was getting to a violent vitriol level. And so I took off my yarmulke. And then moving on to Thursday, you see tensions continuing to rise to a point where I'm trying to help a Jewish student move out of the university for the remainder of the year, getting his things off the university. As we're trying to get his items out through the exit on the Broadway entrance through Lerner Hall, we were called some very harsh things, and we were told that they are so happy that the Zionists are finally leaving campus, and that we wouldn't have to leave if we weren't a supporter of genocide. And this is really difficult because we're not public about our social media opinions, about anything going on right now. People wouldn't know that just based on looking at us, because neither of us are public about it in social media or any other aspect. And so the only marker for which they would possibly have any identification with us and the state of Israel or anything else going on right now is through the fact that we are both openly wearing yarmulkes.
I'm
I had
so
already
very
had
sorry.
a
It's
planned
just
departure from, yeah, I already had a planned departure from campus on Friday. But as I was leaving campus through the other gate on 116th in Amsterdam, this individual yelled an anti-Semitic slur at me, and then told me that they told me to keep on walking and were so happy that I was leaving campus as I was getting into the Uber. And so yet another disheartening aspect where this individual clearly was not a student outside the university, yet they're still here yelling anti-Semitic rhetoric at students like myself.
They're camping out.
And
I mean, it's just it's grotesque. I'm so sorry. Do you think Columbia University is doing enough to protect students like you? And what do you want to see happen to those who are protesting?
I do not think our university is doing enough to protect us. I think it's very evident by the mass exodus of Jewish students from campus this past weekend, right before Passover began, where students were originally intending on spending it on campus and have had to leave because they have been victims of anti-Semitic incidents in which they, in the evenings, have been followed back to their dorms. They have been told, quote, go back to Poland, so that we don't have any culture, told that we are genocidal maniacs. And these things are just because of our association with our Judaism, whether it's wearing a Magen David necklace or wearing a yarmulke. We've been continuously harassed on campus. And our president has the NYPD out in front of campus in mass numbers and continues to tell people in public, especially last week in Congress, how much they are planning on doing to protect us. But these things just seem like a showing of brunt force. And I think it's actually making Jewish students safer, because you still have Rabbi Elie Buchler telling us that we need to find safer locations in campus.
I mean, they're literally telling the students, oh, yeah, you should leave. It's not safe for you, instead of actually doing something about it. But ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we'll continue with the protest. And it's just madness to me. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around, because it's going to be short.
You have just watched an FFN Network production.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
All right. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around for more of The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network with yours truly, Blaze Man, Mr. D, and the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. B. So, look, B, 30 seconds. What needs to be done about this?
What needs to be done about this is number one. D himself had probably given some of the best
Advice?
commentary by and advice. Anybody who's here that's on student visas or whatever else who's participating in this, load them up out. Put them on a plane, the next plane to wherever the sand is going, and dump them there. They don't belong here. Get them out. They're not studying. They're not contributing, and whatever else. Get them out. To the Americans that are here that are doing these things, if they want to take up with terrorists and they want to be terrorist sympathizers and embrace and embrace an enemy, load them up to ship them out. There's other kids who deserve the education that these people are thumbing their nose at and playing games with.
And for free. D, 30 seconds.
Because I took 20 seconds.
I didn't
hear you. Can you hear me?
I heard you say 20 seconds.
No, you should give me additional 20 seconds
because
I researched this for us during break.
Very good.
Columbia University's tuition is $65,000 a year. Don't matter if you're in state or out of state. $65K. I recommend that young man buy a Tahoe, go into the IDF, get some intestinal fortitude pumped into him, and come out as a better man in 4 years compared to the Columbia University. Mm-hmm. When did the Democrats turn from hippies to radical extremists?
Wow, that was a fucking wow. Wow.
Thank you.
I mean it for real. I mean, like, wow. I mean, yeah. Go ahead, man.
No, because we're and I hate to stroke us, but we do have one thing on our side, and that's our age. And it's not so much we can reflect on history, but the wisdom that we're at now to like, hey, you need to go back on your books. And my last thought, Columbia University, it just triggered something in my memory. Good old Beto O'Rourke. He is a mighty fine graduate of that university. So please, audience, put 1 + 1 equals what you get for the product. You can see what they pump out of Columbia University. That's it. That's all I got, guys.
Well, with that being said, we're going to move on to one of the biggest cases that's hit Massachusetts since the what do you want to call it there? Back in the day, D, with all of those murders, what was it called? The cult murders. Biggest thing since the cult murders in Fall River, Massachusetts.
The Helter Skelter days you're talking about?
No, not the Helter
Skelter days. No. Hey, Blaze, before you move on,
you don't have to apologize. Let's go.
We're going to spend a little more time. Bob Kraft. he stopped.
Yes, donating to his alumni. Correct, sir. Correct, yes. Sir.
And we need to start seeing more of these prominent Jewish people speak out. And the next one that spoke out today, that I captured him, he was outside of district court. It was Dan Goldman. He's the House Representative. He's the little bulldog for the Democrats on the House and Ways Committee. I mean, he's a lawyer, third generation Levi Strauss, but he made a comment as well, very soft, but being, we just need these people to step up and stop this shit, because the Jewish people are a very large part of our community, and they hold a lot of seats at the higher table. Sorry. And that's what I really believe is driving this too, is the envy these fucking people have for these Jewish people that have worked hard and been shitted all their lives.
I agree. B?
If you're waiting for me to disagree, I'm not going to. I think you're absolutely correct. You hit the nail on the head, my friend. Yeah, and I
Thank you,
believe
Dave.
I finally am getting some kind of respect for Bob Kraft when he turned and looked at the cameras, and he not only announced that he was cutting his funding, but he was encouraging other
Well, wait a minute.
endowed donors.
Why did you lose any respect for Robert?
I never had respect for the schmuck.
Why? I'm curious.
Because he was making money on a game. I
Oh my God.
He's a big New England hero.
He sure
there,
is.
hooray, hooray.
He does a lot more than just pay for football.
Hey, but let me tell you a story.
Okay, real quick.
How quick they can flip the tables. A young man took me out to a NFL football game, put me on the third row. His name was Jared Monty. You can Google his name. He's a Medal of Honor winner. Anyways, we were having a couple of beers, and he jumped over the wall. He went to jail. I tried picking him up. I didn't have custody. Anyways, so he got banned for life. The kid goes to Afghanistan, gets shot up trying to save his people. Now Mr. Kraft holds ceremonies with his dad that used to be his dad passed on. But wow, you kicked him out. He went to go serve, died for you. Now you want to show him a little love?
I don't know, man. I don't think Kraft. I don't think Kraft personally said ban that kid for life. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was whoever's in charge of doing that.
But I hope the record reflects, that the kid was banned for life out of the old Foxborough Stadium. I just want the record to reflect.
That was out of the old Foxborough Stadium.
I want to mention this before we go any further. We want to get people in here calling in and talking to us. 508-974-4231 is the number to call. Pick up the phone, call in. We want to hear what you have to say about what we're talking about.
Yeah, not only that, if you'd like to send us an email, also at ffnnetwork9@gmail.com, and give us an idea maybe what you want to talk about or what you want us to talk about. Maybe you can join in. We'll do all the research and we'll have some fun with it. With that being said, if you want to call, say hello, and jump in on the conversation for a few minutes, give us a call at 508-974-4231. Don't call in with any foot fetishes because B won't let me hang up. So let's get back to, all right.
Reading emails is not part of my job description, Blaze. We rather talk.
Yeah, we'd rather talk. So, one of the biggest cases in Massachusetts since the Colt murders in Fall River, Massachusetts, is the Karen Reed story. The Karen Reed, is it murder or is it a cover-up? D?
Blaze, you forgot about the Big Dan.
Well, oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. So top three. It's the top three, Blaze. Right? It's go ahead.
This is sad, man. And this is a sickness that it seems that it's more prevalent up there in the Northeast compared to the South.
As far as what?
And the hot damn it. I was there. Come on, hit the thing.
What you talking about?
My brain slipped.
Oh, no. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, come on, bro.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
my name is Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Go ahead, bro.
You keep me waiting.
I like Poco Rodriguez.
You're a slowpoke.
No,
go ahead, man.
It's we used to say, you've heard the term, especially in politics, crony capitalism. There's some crony shit going on here with the DA, um, the lead investigator, which is a state trooper, and the evidence doesn't support B. It
No,
doesn't.
I completely agree with you, and I think what we're seeing is a fine example of CYA. Cover your ass, and it's exactly what's going on here. And they've got each other turning around, covering each other's ass. And why? Because it's law enforcement melded with the judicial system and so forth that prosecutes people and whatever else.
Yeah, but
And one's covering the other's ass because the other one covers the other one's ass, and it's a big repetitive loop. And what's getting mashed into the process is uh, this poor lady's butt.
Well, listen, you should be ashamed of yourself for saying "but." By the way, I don't.
All right, next I'll say this poor lady's white ass. Okay,
There you go.
there's
I
nothing
mean,
racist
you're
about
sitting there
that.
and you're saying, "Oh, covering their butts and no, they're covering it up, and they're trying to put an innocent freaking woman into
Yes,
jail."
please. Thank you.
Let's take
Preach.
a listen. This one's going to be a little bit because I want everybody to be on track. And if the boys have any questions, just jump right in, man. Here we go.
Karen Reed arriving for jury selection in her trial. She's accused of driving drunk and hitting and killing her boyfriend, John.
Okay, so for me, right off the bat, in the beginning, they hear a lady saying, "I took my son out of school for this." Why? Why? Anybody? Anybody? Why? Why'd you take your kid out of school?
Maybe to show how the justice system works, how to protest legally, how to protest right, how to stay out of traffic, how to keep your
What does
hands
that got to do
yourself.
with leaving your damn kid in school? This is what I mean.
maybe they thought it was a
What I mean,
Hamas thing instead.
it's what I. It's yeah. Oh man.
I'm sorry, Blaze. You got it.
You are just too much, B. You are just too much. So, yeah, they're trying to railroad this, broad. They're trying to railroad her. And if anybody else has anything else that they want to add and say that she is guilty, give us a call at 508-974-4231. Again, that's 508-974-4231. Let's take a listen. Listen to the lady. I'm sorry, it just drives me nuts. Oh, I took my kid out of school for this.
Yeah.
I just brought my son out of school to see this. Karen Reed arriving for jury selection in her trial. She's accused of driving drunk and hitting and killing her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, and then leaving him to die in the snow.
There was no fight. There was no dog attack.
But Reed claims she's the victim of a massive police cover-up.
It is not our job to solve this case for the prosecution.
Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Jury selection is underway in the trial of Karen Reed, and the scene outside of the courthouse is wild, with Reed's supporters and those who think she killed John O'Keefe gathering in a buffer zone established by Judge Beverly Cannoni.
They take time off of work. They pay a babysitter to come here to watch their kids. I mean,
people use their vacation time, their sick time. You come for a couple hours in the morning.
Now, Reed arrives with her lawyers to cheers from her supporters.
Just talk, bro. I'll know to kill it. Go ahead.
No, there's your answer.
Well, I can understand.
There is your. No, that's your answer. She took her kid out of school, and so did them other people did as well, and other people. I mean, they're taking time.
Right, and I can understand an adult doing that, but again, I mean, I understand what you think that I'm saying a little bit. D is that she took the kid out of daycare. Not the kid's like freaking 9 years old. She just took the kid out of school. Could have left the kid in school, or was this during spring vacation? But why would she say took the kid out of school? Daycare.
I could care less the kid probably got better educated on the streets of Canton in front of that courtroom than what it was going to do in the. At least the kid was. At least he learned something
Hopefully.
here.
Let's listen some more.
A group simply called Free Karen Reed.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Love you, Karen. Karen Reed! Free Karen Reed!
While those who believe she's guilty shout questions.
Karen, are you not taking the stand because you said it was your fault on the night you hit John?
Now, to say this case has been divisive would probably be the understatement of the century. As the trial date has approached, things have become even more heated online. It all started on January 29th, 2022. Karen Reed and John O'Keefe were out with friends. It was a Friday night and a blizzard was moving in. The couple went to a couple of bars with friends, and after that, prosecutors say Reed and O'Keefe drove to probably be the...
Let's just watch her actions a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, in the bar with her boyfriend. And I mean, because they're at the bar. And I want to say 95% of arguments between husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, they start at the bar, right? And let's say 90% of the times is because the girlfriend or the wife is pissed at the guy for maybe checking out another broad. I want to show this video, and it goes by quick, so pay attention. Just pay attention to her emotions or anything. To me, even though I just briefly saw it, I'm very visual. Anyways, and it didn't seem that her body language was pissed off or upset about anything.
And the reason why you grabbed that is because, you know, that's one of the big things the Commonwealth is putting up, is that they had a serious
At the bar.
heated argument.
Well, no, they didn't say bar. They just said a serious heated argument. And again, that's why I'm saying, yeah, most of them start at the bar. Thanks, D. All right, let's listen some more. And watch her body language. She looks to me like she's laughing. She's waving her hair around a little quick. Or, you know, her body language looks to me like they're having a fun conversation. There's 3 of them there, by the way.
Understatement of the century. As the trial date has approached, things have become even more heated online.
I don't have someone to help me. I have to produce all of this myself. So I don't got somebody to draw in a little circle, you know what I mean, and make it look cool. Let's watch.
It all started on January...
It's not my job description.
January 29th, 2022. Karen Reed and John O'Keefe were out with friends. It was a Friday night and a...
See? She's laughing. They're talking. You know what I mean? Do you see? Do you see?
Look at the other people. They're not even paying attention.
Right. Excellent fucking observation. That was going to be my next thing. That was going to be my next thing. If they were fighting and yelling loud, right? People right there would be looking over. They'd be looking over. So they weren't fighting at the bar. I listen, for this video that we have here now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the only thing that we're analyzing, okay? Yes, you're probably sitting there and saying, yeah, but you only showed a few seconds of footage. Maybe the argument started later. You're right. But wouldn't you think that would be the video that the news would be showing instead of a video like this? Would you guys agree, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right.
It's selective
Correct.
viewing, man.
Let's watch your body movement and we'll continue it on.
January 29th, 2022. Karen Reed and John O'Keefe were out with friends. It was a Friday night and a blizzard was moving in. The couple went to a couple of bars with friends, and after
Another thing I noticed is she didn't have a drink in her hand.
O'Keefe drove to Brian Albert's house.
This is why I stopped shopping on
Sorry
Amazon,
about this,
and
ladies
you
and
should
gentlemen.
too. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
He was another police officer, and they were going to hang out. What happened next has become the subject of fierce debate. Prosecutors say Reed and O'Keefe got into an argument. The relationship had been on the rocks. The theory, Reed was drunk and backed her car into O'Keefe, hitting him, and then took off, calling O'Keefe and leaving a voicemail that said, "I effing hate you, John." A few hours later, Reed's SUV can be seen backing out of the driveway of the home she shared with O'Keefe. But the defense claims Massachusetts State Police investigator Michael Proctor framed Reed and never disclosed he knew the Alberts.
We have been saying since September 16th, 2022, in lengthy motions that we filed before this court and filed with the Commonwealth, There is a conflict. You're not investigating the conflict.
The prosecution has pushed back on those claims.
And their testimonies are largely consistent with the defendants making declarative statements that she did it. Not a question mark at the end, but clear definitive statements on scene.
Reed was indicted in September 2022 and said this when she was booked at the jail.
You were indicted by grand jury.
Okay, so now on last week's show, this was what I was trying to explain when I was telling the audience that when they first arrested her, they didn't arrest her for murder. I don't remember exactly what they arrested her for. I'm sure they're going to say it here on the video. But like I said, she started to talk. Now, I watched it a few times before we're about to see it here, and this is not the whole thing, and I apologize for that. I tried to find a video that would have everything, at once. So, with that being said, go ahead, B.
A quick question here. Okay, they keep referring to this thing where she made a declarative statement, said, "I did it." Okay,
She never said that.
What? I did what? I scratched my nose. I pointed at a bluebird out the window. What?
Well, but that's not how it. That's not how she says it. It is taken out of content. Okay, because again, like I was saying, when they first arrested her, they arrested her for another charge, not murder. Okay, so when she got arrested for that, she posted bail. Okay, now what we're about to see is her talking to the clerk that she paid the bail, and she's just waiting to leave. And she's asking the clerk, why can't I leave if I paid my bail? And the clerk starts explaining to her, and we're not going to see all of this, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm explaining it now. The clerk explains to her, he says, well, look, yeah, you paid for that bail, but now they're charging you with murder. And that's when she's...
Blaze, that's when you were supposed to hit that. What you talking about, Willis?
And
thank you, Blaze.
You got it. All right, you're in that kind of mood. All right, I'll take care of you. So thank you, my lovely wife. Miss Tammy says hello, everybody.
Oh, Tammy.
So okay, yeah, let's listen a little bit more.
2022 and said this when she was booked at the jail.
You were indicted by grand jury.
Okay, you're aware he was beaten up by Brian Albert.
All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to back it up, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And then I'm going to add the caption.
I'd never seen this before, but I felt it was Colin. And she makes reference here, correct, Blaze?
Yeah. She said that he got into a fight with him or something to that nature, right? And then, of course, the cop starts doing his job. He's like, hey, just stop talking about it. But if you want to talk about it, I'll listen. But just know everything you say is, can be held against you. Yeah, it's recorded.
Recording.
All right, so I'll put the caption on so you can hear what's going on.
Was booked at the jail.
You were indicted by grand jury.
Okay, you're aware he was beaten up by Brian Albert.
See? You're aware he was beaten up by Brian. The Brian Albert.
We're all in on the same joke, right?
See, we're all in on the same joke, right? She's thinking this is a fucking joke right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because there's
remember everybody
she doesn't have a lot of defense when it comes to that on the same joke.
Right, I understand that, but let's be real here. Everybody that her circle are all law enforcement.
Yes, dude. Yes, and that's what makes this a tragedy.
They're all law enforcement, and I think that fucking Brian or whoever got into a beef with him, and they killed him. They didn't mean to kill them. They didn't mean to kill him. It was probably a scuffle, a beef. You know what I mean? Something to that effect. Let's listen more. Watch the caption.
Go ahead. Yes,
was
sir.
booked at the jail.
You were indicted by grand jury.
Okay, you're aware he was beaten up by Brian and Colin Albert. I mean,
Brian and Colin Albert.
Okay.
That's what she said. Brian and Colin Albert. That would
Yeah,
be
okay,
father
yeah.
and son.
we're all in on the same joke, right?
Oh, you.
My taillight was cracked and John was
My tail light was cracked and Job was
pulverized.
Okay,
pulverized. Okay. That's just the caption, probably not picking up what she said. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But why did she say my right tail light was cracked?
you need to abide by the rights that were afforded to you, okay? So
See, he's telling her now. You
Shut
need
up.
to, yeah, abide by the rights. Yeah.
Shut up.
you
Yep.
can talk if you
Yep.
want.
Yep. He's
If
being
you want
nice.
to tell us what happened, that's fine. We'll listen, but
Yeah. If you want to tell us, that's fine. We'll listen. But
you read your rights, okay? And I'm sure he's gonna do it again. All right.
and they already read you your rights, but and they're gonna do it
You
again.
want to talk to us? You want to give us a story?
Since that time, a federal grand jury has heard testimony about the case, but no federal charges have ever been filed. Reed's supporters believe O'Keefe was beaten and attacked by Albert's dog, Chloe, while prosecutors say that theory is nothing more than a tinfoil hat
I knew it was a Kardashian.
Oh, Jesus.
conspiracy,
I knew the name, but I couldn't pick it up,
yeah.
man. Chloe.
and that
Yes.
O'Keefe's death was
Yeah.
caused
She
by blunt
identifies
force
as a
trauma
female.
and hypothermia. Now, despite that, Reed might suggest that one of the Alberts, or possibly a federal agent named Brian Higgins, killed John O'Keefe over the objection of
ATF.
prosecutors.
We do not have to prove.
Okay. So now, because I'm just learning this right now, I probably didn't listen to it enough, or probably didn't pay attention to this part. But you're saying there's a DEA agent involved in this?
Yes. No.
ATF.
ATF or DEA.
Yeah.
And that's Brian Higgins.
ATF, DEA. This is getting. Go ahead, B.
There's one person who would be able to put this whole thing to bed, and I don't know if he's around or if anybody's consulted with him. Guy by the name of Henry Lee. Does that name ring a bell at all?
No.
Okay.
Not to me.
Yes. He's 0-1 in my book.
Yeah,
OJ.
he is a pathologist, forensic pathologist. Remember the television show Quincy? It's
Yeah,
one of those.
I know who you're talking
It
about.
was down from the state of Connecticut. My brother used to work with him. Henry Lee was one of the top, if not the top, forensic pathologists and investigators and so forth that would be able to take a look at this thing and punch so many holes in the prosecution's case, it would make it laughable. But well, I don't know where he is or if he's still around or if he's still alive. I have no idea. But
Well, they didn't ask him to come up for this case, so he probably cost a lot of money.
I do know that he's retired, of course, but
Money talks, B.
no.
But let's
Not
continue.
from the grave.
Prove that Brian Albert or Colin Albert or Brian Higgins or some combination of them intended to kill John O'Keefe. We don't have to prove that any of them attacked John O'Keefe such that he eventually died. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they didn't. But the fact of the matter is there is evidence that all three of them had a motive, had the opportunity and the means to attack John O'Keefe.
There have been a number.
What is the motive here?
They're not cracking
exactly.
it. Exactly. I think the motive is O'Keefe confronted Colin. Colin was he was a vote pusher.
Yeah.
What I've seen. Yeah, and I think O'Keefe, that's a good old Irish boy named too, O'Keefe. John O'Keefe. Wow. Killed by other cops.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of O'Keefes in the New York Police Department.
Number of theories of sort of speculation,
speculation,
opinions without any evidentiary support, names of certain people that have been dropped at this microphone by counsel at different pretrial hearings who are not
good.
Yeah,
rate it.
Witnesses who have nothing to do with this case.
For as divisive as this case has been on YouTube and social media, there are still people who are on the fence, like Brandy Churchwell. She's the host of the 13th Juror podcast.
You know, I think some of the biggest issues that I've seen are the investigation itself, because there seems to be so many unanswered questions, things that weren't necessarily done by the book. And with the court documents and the statements from the witnesses, there are so many conflicting statements, and the statements change. And I think that if everything were based solely on just whatever evidence they presented, it would be a totally different situation than the automatic distrust that is caused from all of these court documents and these statements changing and not being consistent.
But there are two people who represent just how divisive this case has become.
And it's not funny to joke about domestic violence, you coward punk.
Who? All right, now who's got the camera?
That's old Turtle Boy right there himself. Look at his lapel button. And his real name
Okay,
is
so
Aiden
this is
Curry.
Turtle Boy with the camera? Okay. So
I'm at a loss here. Excuse me. If you could fill me in here. What is this Turtle Boy business?
he has a podcast, and he's been talking about this show.
What a twerp.
Uh,
Hold on.
I mean, he's got a big podcast, but that's what
he went to jail too, I think, for 30 days. I know it was more than a week. And they got him for intimidating a witness.
Good for them.
And this is his antics. And he'll go, Jennifer McCabe, you'll hear that story here soon. He goes right up to them while they're at the high school.
yeah, he's
events
all
and
right.
just
So
ask
he's an
them
asshole journalist.
questions. Oh, he's
Right. Let's listen.
Yep.
I
think he
think
got his
we
credentials
got to
from
take a break,
FFN
ladies and
Network.
gentlemen, before we continue. So stick around. We'll be back real quick for more of the way we
Hey,
see
the
it right
Bill.
here on the FFN Network.
You have just watched an FFN Network production.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we
If I told you that you look absolutely stunning, handsome tonight, my friend.
I appreciate it. That's wonderful. I'll take a bow for that, even though I haven't shaved.
B, have you B, are you not up to speed with the Karen Reed?
I'm as up to speed with this as I possibly can be, and there's more. There's more in confusion
That's
here than
why
there is.
we got to get through most of this video so everybody gets up to speed.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea of fair justice here is kind of like the idea of Oprah Winfrey at a salad bar. You're not seeing it.
Exactly. Excellent parody there. But This is real life, number one. And number two, if it is because it's a little police circle going on here and they're trying to fucking put this poor girl in jail, man. Okay?
Yeah, obviously.
And not being consistent.
But there are two people who represent just how divisive this case has become.
And it's not funny to joke about domestic violence, you coward punk.
Did you really beat her, Grant?
No, that is my
Did you
aunt.
touch her?
That is my
Should we
aunt.
start a GoFundMe for her?
That's Aiden Turtleboy Carney talking to law student Grant Smith Ellis.
Are you working for the FBI, Grant? Did the FBI give you that jacket, Grant?
Carney runs Turtleboy Daily News and believes Reed is innocent. He's even facing witness intimidation charges in connection to the case. And if you think I touched on everything that's a point of contention in this case, yes, again, there's a lot more to discuss. So if you've been following this case, you know how incredibly contentious it is with the Free Karen Reed camp and people who think that Karen Reed is guilty and that the evidence points to her as killing John O'Keefe. So in the Free Karen Reed camp, the leader,
I'm sorry, but those are the stupid
of that
people.
camp is Aiden Carney. He goes by Turtle Boy. He's a journalist. He says he's won some awards. He's award winning. And we also have Grant Ellis. He's a law
Listen to right, exactly. Listen to Turtle Boy talk. I won some awards, but I don't know which ones they are. You know,
participation award in elementary school.
Because I'm pretty sure she asked them. You know, oh, so what awards did you win? Well, I can't think of it right now. I'm Turtle Boy.
He's the journalist and introducing him. She don't know what awards he won.
Karen Reed.
Yeah, go D.
So Turtle Boy used to be a high school teacher, and his political views, that's why he quit teaching and went to journalism.
Is because he wanted to get into his to this. But there's journalism. There's journalism,
no.
and then there's fucking just being an asshole.
No, man. And you know something? I appreciate this asshole because this young lady's getting framed by a bunch of filthy ass police. Filthy. And what's sad, it probably runs rampant in this country. Hey, no, hold up. Chloe, the dog, right? I'm not even going to talk about it. The Kardashians, ain't they big on prison reform?
Well, yeah.
Why don't they get them? Well, hold up. Because, you know, a lot of people went to jail. Why can't we prevent this? You know what I mean? Why can't? So what's going to happen? She goes to jail for her 10th year. All these clowns pass away from cirrhosis of the liver. And she's still in jail. And Kim Kardashian comes in there to save her. I don't know.
Right.
Like why? What's going on? I mean,
why are the Kardashians not seeing this? Not the Kardashians advocating for Karen Reed, right? Is that what you're saying?
If you don't do it now, you're going to do it later for them.
Right.
Later for her.
Right. So listen, take a good chunk of this one out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's guilt. So thanks both of you for joining me. I want to start with you, Aiden. You've been following this from the very beginning, and you believe that Karen Reed is innocent. Why?
The autopsy photos are inconsistent, and the FBI agrees that with somebody who's been run over by a car. John O'Keefe was not run over by a car. He had no broken bones. He had no bruises anywhere from the nose down. He had a 3-inch laceration in the back of his head. He has dog bites, what are clearly dog bites, on his right arm exclusively. There's two witnesses, Lucky Loughran, the plow driver, who drove by the scene at 2:30 at 34 Fairview Road and reported that not only did he not see a body 12 feet from the curb, that if there was a body there, he most definitely would have seen a body there. Ryan Nagel, also, who was directly behind Karen Reed when she pulled up to 34 Fairview Road, reported that John O'Keefe was not inside the car and John O'Keefe was not outside the car, and that Karen Reed's taillight was in perfectly pristine condition. So if John O'Keefe was not inside the car and John O'Keefe was not outside the car, then John O'Keefe certainly must have been inside the house. This is backed up by the fact that Apple Health data shows John ascending and descending 3 flights of stairs between 12:21 and 12:24, which Karen Reed's phone does not, indicating that they were not in the same place because Karen Reed does not have steps inside of her car. Additionally, of course, Jennifer McCabe undoubtedly was inside the house and is the sister-in-law of Brian Albert, the homeowner. Undoubtedly, and the FBI investigation confirms this, Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. A Google search that she then subsequently deleted before handing over her phone to police. She also deleted all of her calls between 5 and 9 a.m., including 2 very incriminating calls to her sister, Nicole Albert, at 6:07 and 6:08 that lasted durations of 9 and 7 seconds, which she deleted from her phone, which is extremely suspicious and evidence of consciousness of guilt.
Okay, so there was a lot there, but I do want to say we don't know exactly what the FBI expert said. We know what the defense says the FBI expert said about the injuries and whether or not they were consistent or inconsistent with being hit by an SUV. I want to turn to Grant now. Grant, why do you believe the evidence points to Karen Reed being guilty?
Well, I think there's really two important views on the evidence related to Karen Reed's guilt. The first is
everybody ready to
not
listen to
true
this
about what
schmuck?
Aiden was just talking about.
Sure,
So let's take it one
sure.
by one. And Anjanette, I think you pointed it out rightly. The FBI expert that Aiden's referring to was only provided 2 extractions by Mr. Yannetti, Karen Reed's counsel.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical.
While we're waiting for this to buffer and so forth,
This
can
is
I get a
new.
word in edgewise here?
Go ahead. You can
Yeah.
jump in at any time, man.
My personal impression is, okay, here's
But what Aiden neglects to mention is
Go ahead.
this guy was a cop who was predominantly clean, turned around and shot his mouth off to these other guys about something he figured or found out the dirty things that they're into. So they beat the shit out of him over it and then turned around and pinned it on the woman. Okay, there you go.
Well,
Yeah. No, I kind of believe that.
I don't
but
think he
I
was
don't know
squeaky
why.
clean. I think you said one of the cops was a pill pusher and was making some good money off.
No, that's not the cop.
I
That's
don't
the
care.
son.
I don't care. Maybe
Colin.
this O'Keefe guy, didn't like the fact that the kid was pushing dope. And remember,
Yes,
everybody's
yes,
drinking
and
that night. Okay. And I don't know, they got into a heated conversation and it got physical. The dog bites alone.
Oh,
The dog bites alone put
Bro.
him in the fucking house.
And the dog bites on the forearm, that is a defensive wound.
Exactly.
yes. Hey, so one other thing I wanted to add. Turtle Boy makes comment of Lucky Laughlin, the
Yes.
snowplow driver, and said he would have seen them at 2:30 because I drove a snowplow in the Army, but we weren't trained. I believe snowplow drivers are always looking to the
They
right
have
on the
to.
bottom.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, and I believe if I was the defense, I would lead up to that. The training, the mindset of snowplow.
He's an excellent witness if
go
if the defense uses him right. You're absolutely right, brother. Because here in Massachusetts, in the deep suburbs, here in out in Dartmouth and in New Hampshire and all in places like that, you don't have your basic sidewalk. So what the residents do is they would put these sticks in there, with the orange glow on the top, so the snowplow can know where their property begins, where the grass begins, so the snowplows don't rip up the grass, right? So that makes him even more a better witness because, like you said, D, he always has to fucking look that way, especially if there's cars parked that didn't do the parking ban or whatever. Go ahead, brother.
And then also the scene, you see her backing out of
The driveway, yeah.
her garage. I know there's technology available that could measure the light going through that lens to see if she cracked it there or not.
It was cracked there. The last Tuesday's show, we had the video where we had that private investigator come up with the videos where she backed into that other SUV that was in a driveway. Because not only when they do a close up of the video, you can physically see the other SUV, its tire roll forward like it was being bumped into. Maybe they'll show it here. Let's watch some more.
Is that the FBI conducted a separate analysis, this time using Axiom and Celebrite. And the conclusion of that analysis was that the searches were conducted at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m., and it was done at the behest of Karen Reed. That was the timestamps. And the Celebrite internal expert himself is a witness for the state who will confirm the timestamp of those searches. So that's to address just a primary falsehood. So that's one reason why I think there's some evidence of Karen Reed's guilt. Going to something else that Mr. Kearney was talking about, Mr. Kearney knows the evidence in this case shows that John's Waze data, John O'Keefe's Waze data, does not show him arriving at that house until 12:24. So the 3-second window where Mr. O'Keefe at 12:21 a.m. in his Apple Health data went up and down 3 flights of stairs in 3 seconds is entirely an errant and unrelated piece of information if the Waze data, which it does, confirms that Mr. O'Keefe didn't arrive at 34 Fairview until 12:24 a.m. Furthermore, there's also evidence that Mr. Kearney doesn't even address, and the omission of it is so telling as to Karen Reed's guilt. Mr. Kearney doesn't address the voicemails from Karen Reed right after 12:45 a.m. when she is alleged to have hit John, screaming that she effing hated John, that he was a pervert, and that he was sleeping with other women. And what else does Mr. Kearney not address? That just 1 month before John's death, Karen Reed herself started an affair with a federal agent. I believe Mr. Kearney knew about this affair and covered it up from the public to try to protect Karen Reed in the lead up to this trial.
What does any of that have to do with this, though? What does any of that?
That dirties the water a little.
Wait.
What? Calling her sister or her girlfriend, whatever, and saying that her boyfriend's a fucking asshole?
How is she plowing this guy
Every woman
to death
does that.
and sending a text message at the same time? And where was that text message sent from? They should be able to triangulate exactly where it was generated from that phone.
Right.
If she was sending a text message and she was 17 miles away someplace, how in the hell is she then running over with the car at the same time? It don't work. What the hell's the matter with these people?
Hey, 3 flights of stairs in 3 seconds? Yeah, if you get pushed down it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. And there's
I know you're serious, bro. I'm serious with you. That's like something that should actually be said.
There's 4 kids that were in that house too, and they're gonna shit the bed when they get on the stand.
Oh, there's 4 kids.
Yes. Well, now I say kids between the ages of 17 and
so
19.
What age were they when this happened?
A year younger apiece.
Yeah.
If they're 17 and 19 now, then they're 16 and 18 now. Because this started a year ago. And while B is looking that up, we'll continue the video.
And that federal agent that Miss Reed was cheating on Mr. O'Keefe with on the January 15th, 2022 Patriots game, that agent went over to John's house, and Karen followed that agent down to the basement on his way out and gave him a kiss and said to him, "Federal agent, I know where the cameras are, so I know that this will not be caught on camera."
So she walks up to the federal agent and kisses him and then says, "Federal agent, sir, I know where all the cameras are." Are you picturing that? Okay. Are you picturing that?
No, they went to O'Keefe's house.
I don't care where he went.
Oh, yes, yeah. Like, I don't care. I'm going to kiss him so he can see.
It's like, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna kiss you over here where we're not on camera, so nobody will see it.
Yeah, because I know where all the cameras are. Yeah,
I know when the cameras are and we're off camera, so we can go ahead.
Again, what the fuck does that got to do with anything? She doesn't have access to the cameras or anything like that. What does that got to do with anything? I think that this guy is just trying to blow smoke. He snorted some kind of plastic. You know what I mean? I don't know what that board is. Is that a board or a fucking stick back there? Is he in his grandmother's basement? That picture's got to be about 40 years old.
That picture's older. That picture's older than that. It's a fake. It's junk.
So I know that
It's a
this will not
fugazi.
be caught on camera when I go to kiss you. And the reason why that's relevant, Anjanette, and this goes to the last thing I want to talk about with regard to Karen Reed's guilt, is that there were 17 ring videos deleted between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. from John O'Keefe's ring system, which Karen Reed had control over, according to John O'Keefe's niece. And so that is
okay, but that would show on her phone if she had that app on it at some point. Continue.
Yeah. And ring.com, you contact them as a law enforcement. Man, people.
You don't just.
This is a PSA. You can't delete shit. No more.
Exactly.
Nothing.
The only way
nothing. What you put out there is going to stay.
Exactly. Especially if you mess around with cloud shit.
Anjanette, coupled with the fact that Karen Reed went back to Fairview Road before going to Jen McCabe's, is evidence that she saw the body, had a panic attack, had a meltdown, and then tried to bring witnesses back to the scene, knowing that body was there, which is why Karen Reed started screaming.
What the hell has he been smoking?
I don't know what he's been smoking. B. I mean, he's not making any fucking sense here. You know.
What next? She psyched Lusitania?
Body, had a panic attack, had a meltdown, and then tried to bring witnesses.
So maybe she did go by the house and fucking seen the body and got fucking scared and left. You know what I mean?
Back to the.
But on Fairview, there's a house across the street on Fairview Road, and it's got one of these high-tech cameras, and they don't have no film of that camera reporting any action around that house.
Exactly.
None.
What about the snowplow?
None.
Do they have?
I'm sure it has the snowplow going by. Does it have the snowplow going by?
I'm pretty sure.
Because if you're trying to establish time, then you definitely need that footage to say, the fucking truck did come by.
I was there. The only concern I have with the snowplow driver, because they talked, Turtle Boy interviewed the Department of Public Works director for Canton, and he made mention that was contracted out with contractors.
Okay.
And I don't know if they have to have that camera and all that other stuff. Because a lot of these large companies and stuff, they put cameras in their truck.
Insurance, they catch a break on insurance. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
No. People, they're called ambulance chases. They do brake checks in front of 40 tons of rolling steel and hoping for the best when the firemen cut them out of the airbags.
Yeah.
That's why they do it.
All right.
To protect themselves, bro.
The scene, knowing that body was there, which is why Karen Reed started screaming before she got past the tree line coming up to Fairview Road when she went back to the scene with Jen McCabe and Kerry Roberts. That's the reality.
So Grant threw out a lot of information in there, and a lot of what Grant said is laid out in some prosecution documents, particularly the one that was pushing back against the motion to
Turtle
dismiss
Boy
filed
shaking
by
his
the
head.
defense. And there really is some information in there in that document that is.
Imagine making $453,000 in a single month as an affiliate marketer with
inculpatory that makes Karen Reed look bad, and it does point to her as the person who who killed John O'Keefe.
No, it
that maybe
doesn't,
backed up
lady.
and hit him. What do you say about those voicemails where she is
particular?
calling him and cursing at him
Oh yeah, let's talk
after
about
the
that.
fact, allegedly
Let's
after
talk
she
about
hit him?
that.
What is your response to
So
that?
the Commonwealth would have us believe that Karen Reed, after intentionally striking John O'Keefe with his car, did perhaps the most incriminating thing she could do and leave angry voicemails with him. That is the last thing. To me, that is more exculpatory than inculpatory, because a guilty person would not leave a message saying, I hate you, immediately after hitting someone. An innocent person was. A person who was upset that they thought their boyfriend went out and got drunk and didn't come home. That kind of person. People have left voicemails like that with their loved ones before when they get upset with them. That does not
Exactly.
make them a murderer. That does not explain
Man, I just
why
said that.
why John O'Keefe has dog bites on his arm. That does not explain why Lucky Loughran did not see a body at 2:30 a.m. That does not explain why Ryan Nagel did not see John O'Keefe inside or outside of the house. And by the way, the Apple Health data is substantial, and he's wrong about the Waze thing. He just made that up. The Apple Health data uses an internal cocoa clock, which measures seconds from the year 2000. It is the most reliable form of telling time possible. And it shows that John was ascending and descending stairs from 1221 to 1224. It's Apple. I mean, it's freaking Apple. We don't have to explain the reliability that our society has on Apple. If Apple Health data is unreliable, that we have nothing. Additionally, not a single person inside that house who left that house, there was 11 in total, said that they saw a body when they left the house. Not a single person saw a body. However, I'll tell you what Lucky Loughran did see when he went back at 3 a.m. was he saw a Ford Edge parked in the exact same spot where John O'Keefe's body would be discovered 3 hours later. Remember, he did not see a body there prior to that. And then he saw a Ford Edge, and then 3 hours later, boom, a body appears there. You know who owns a Ford Edge? Colin Albert owns a Ford Edge. Brian Albert owns a Ford Edge. Kevin Albert owns a Ford Edge. And the police to this day have not done a single thing to track down who was driving a Ford Edge parked directly next to where a dead police officer was found 3 hours later. The same lead investigator, Michael Proctor, who we now know is close family friends with the primary and most important witnesses in this case, that he lied to a state grand jury about his relationship with them, that he was offered gifts by Julie Albert, the mother of Colin Albert, on the day that Karen Reed was arrested. She wanted to thank him and send him that. So I don't care if Karen Reed was smooching with the entire town of Canton. I don't care if Karen Reed left angry voicemails with them. None of that explains all of the much more damning exculpatory evidence.
Absolutely.
Okay. But
This other guy is just swilling out, garbage.
Well, before we get
before
we get into this, can we take a break?
Oh yeah, we got to take a break. Thank you, sir. We'll come. Stick around for the last half hour of The Way We See It, when we'll continue covering the Karen Reed bullshit story. We'll be right back, everybody.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the last half hour of the way we see it. Thanks everybody who's tuned in tonight. We're gonna finish off this Karen Reed case video, but before we do, let's open it up to about a 30-second thing with the boys to see if what's in their minds, and we're gonna go with you, B.
What you talking about, Will?
I like to defer to D. He had something to mention. I didn't mean to cut him off before we broke.
No. Damn, brother. No, I forgot already. Thanks,
This entire thing just stinks high to hell. It really does. It stinks to high hell. And I truly believe that, that's what happened. That this guy was a, for all intents and purposes, a clean enough cop or whatever else. And he got word or got into or found out or started talking about or shooting his mouth off something that these other guys were into, and they kicked the shit out of him. And then they turn around and trying to do whatever they can to pin it on top of this woman instead of what really happened.
It could be as simple as that. B, go D.
As Karen Reed comes back, like I believe 4 hours and stuff, that Jen McCabe lady, she's evil, bro. Oh man, when she came in there all hysterical and stuff like that, bang, she planted it in her head. This is the story, and everybody else ran with it. That's it, man. But can you put that video back up, please? So you remember the first time you guys met Turtle Boy on the video, right? He was taking that video, talking crap.
Phone camera, yeah.
You guys understand this is the coward punk he was talking about,
this
right?
Guy here?
That's him right there. Yes. So they got a little bloodline. And what you have here is old Turtle Boy. I think he's in love with Karen. And this guy here just fantasizes about her, and that's where it's at.
That's all, folks.
I agree, brother.
Yeah, did I hit it?
That's all, folks.
You got it.
Aiden, you have to contend and you have to concede that I don't think anybody is saying that Karen Reed intentionally hit. I don't even think the Commonwealth is saying that she intentionally backed into him.
Oh, yes, they are.
I mean, it sounds like they think she was drunk. They got into a fight. This is the theory. She got into a fight with him. They argued. She was drunk. He may have had that glass in his hand or whatever from the bar, and that she backs into him and takes off. And maybe she didn't even realize what she did. And then
you disagree with the Commonwealth,
cursing him out.
And you disagree with the Commonwealth.
That's how I read it. That's how I read that document.
Hold on, Anjanette, can I weigh in here? Because I think I deserve a chance to respond.
That John did that John was hit intentionally. It's undeniable. That is what they've
No, that's wrong. Aiden, you're putting out misinformation. This is a malice theory of second-degree murder. I'm sure Anjanette can explain it to you if you don't want me to. The malice theory of second-degree murder has three possible prongs. Two of them involve intentionality. One option does not. One involves recklessness as the mens rea, which means a reasonably prudent person knew or should have known that they acted in a way which could have resulted in death. It does not require intent. It does not require foresight of the death having potential to occur. It requires only that the defendant should have knew or should have known that their actions, to wit, in this case,
you can't say you didn't study in law school.
Backing up in anger while John was around the
car,
had a
shoe polish. He's
reasonable and
shining
plain
us on
likelihood
so much.
that could cause death. That's the standard. It's not intentionality. You're wrong, Aiden.
I'm actually not wrong, because actually in the filings they specifically.
Do you think that this guy's like 15 minutes of fame? Because he's starting to sweat here. I'm getting a little bit worried about him.
No.
Said that that Karen backed up 62 feet and hit the maximum speed of 24.2 miles an hour, 62 feet at 24 miles an hour, which, by the way, is physically impossible. We've recreated that several times, particularly in the snow, and yet nobody heard it. That is not an accident if somebody does something like that. If somebody intentionally guns it at another human being, that is not an accident. So let's be clear. The Commonwealth is alleging.
But you understand, Aiden, let me quote this.
I want to get in here for a second. let me get in here. I've read the documents. You can intentionally gun your vehicle, but not intend to hit somebody, and that's how I read it. And when I read through the documents, and I've read them twice, that this laying out their theory of the case was that they got into a fight. She was drunk. I mean, this was a bad relationship. It sounds like it was on the rocks, and it was probably ending. And that she was mad. She may not have even realized she hit him. I mean, that's how I read the documents.
You didn't hit a 200. You wouldn't notice he had a 217-pound body going 24 miles an hour. You wouldn't notice that. Come on.
If you were drunk, I don't know.
And by the way, both cameras across the street have ring cameras on them. Ask how many of them were pulled by police. 0. There's hundreds.
Yeah. See, they didn't pull the cameras.
No, bro.
You know what I mean? They didn't pull some of the cameras, so that means they didn't pull the camera of the neighbor right across the fucking street. that could potentially show the snowplow going by at 2:30 in the morning. B, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm kind of wondering myself. You know, how long do these things retain the video?
As long as you want. As long as you want.
No, it's either it's going to overwrite things.
No, they get stored in the cloud. They get stored in the cloud.
If it's stored in the cloud, then they should be able to go out and pull the information.
Right. But do they want to? That's the point. That's what's being said right here. Go ahead, D.
And you know what's crazy? What helped them even more when they removed the officer's body from the house is that it was snowing. So all the damn footprint marks were all filled by the time the police got there that next morning.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he got killed in the house and got drugged through the house and came out the garage, and that's where they threw his body 12 feet from the road. They're dirty, man. No, they're dirty, bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So let's listen to the rest of this.
Hundreds of ring cameras on homes and businesses between 34 Fairview Road and One Meadows Ave, where she went. Not a single one of those videos was pulled by police. Not one. If they had just found one ring camera video with a broken taillight, Karen Reed is 1,000% guilty. But they did not do one. And the lead investigator in charge of this happens to be good friends with the McAlberts and was offered a gift by Julie Albert on the day that Karen Reed is arrested. Ask yourself why.
And I've read that in the defense filings. I want to discuss very briefly the dog bites, this dog bite theory, because we haven't heard that really specifically addressed by the state. So I've seen the pictures. We can't show them on YouTube. I know they're out there on other channels, but we are not showing them. I've seen the scratches.
I noticed that dog was a German Shepherd. Was it at one point a police dog?
Shepherd does not have to be a police dog to cause
90% of them are shepherds. 90% of them are shepherds.
But a shepherd does not have to be a trained police dog to make the kind of wounds that this guy received.
I agree, B.
What?
I agree.
A shepherd does not have to be a police dog to cause the kind of bite wounds that this man got.
Understandable. I agree with you with that too. That's not the question I asked. What do you think of the odds that dog was a former police dog or is a
very
police
low?
Dog?
Because that dog wouldn't have bit that man unless he was placed on order to do something.
Exactly. My point, B.
I think he was a retired canine dog.
Thank you.
I
That's
really
what I'm
believe.
saying. And under command, when it was told to go fucking bite him, thus the arm bite be the protecting, the guarding. That's what I think.
Vertical, up and down. You contend their dog bite marks attacks from Chloe, the dog that was in the house. Aiden, that's your contention. So tell me why you believe so strenuously that John O'Keefe was attacked by a dog, because there's no mention of that in the information from the medical examiner in the prosecution documents.
I suggest everybody watch Attorney Melanie's lip.
God damn it, boys.
Little's interview with canine expert and dog bite expert Garrett Wing on January 13th. You can check it out on YouTube. He is a person who has seen thousands of dog bites over the years and knows exactly what they look like. And he believes with absolute certainty that those are dog bites from an untrained police dog. Police dogs are taught specifically to latch onto a victim's arm. They will not let go. They're taught to hold on. But an untrained dog like Chloe, who, by the way, also according to Canton Animal Canine Control records, sent 2 other people to the emergency room and biting them. An untrained dog like Chloe would grasp onto you, and if you pulled your arm away, it would cause marks like that. And it's undoubtedly that those are clearly lacerations, not abrasions. We all know what an abrasion looks like. It's insulting to us to suggest that those are abrasions. And keep in mind, medical examiners don't see dog bites a lot because most people who die are not killed by a pack of wild dogs. So they don't really see a lot of dog bites on dead victims very often.
All right, Grant, this is our last point, the dog bite theory. Your response.
Yes. Thank you. I'm sorry I forgot to address it earlier. This is simply not at issue in the case, Anjanette. The defense has said there's no dog DNA at issue. It's not in any of the moving papers, as you know. What it is actually a microcosm of everything that Aidan Kearney reflects in this case, which is we, as you know, Anjanette, in the legal profession, are subject to the federal rules of evidence, which I keep in my pocket at all times. Those federal rules of evidence limit what can come in a trial for a reason. Mr. Kearney, however, in an attempt to poison the jury pool, can say whatever he wants in the hope that it will potentially cause one juror to hold out and vote for a not guilty verdict. However, because the fact the dog DNA is not at issue, and the fact that these autopsy photos came out from the defense and were hypersaturated, it's all an indication that this is a distraction, and it's not even going to be brought up.
Hypersaturated.
And one more thing to bring this back. It is very, very, very clear that Karen Reed probably did not intend to kill John O'Keefe. But it is also clear that Karen Reed probably found the body before she went to Jen McCabe's and had a complete meltdown as a result. Mr. Kearney can't address Karen's behavior at the
paint at
breakdown of
school
the
or
relationship.
something when he was a kid.
Well, you think he was eating a lot of glue in 4th grade?
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
If he wasn't eating it, he was sniffing it.
He need to tighten up on his head and shoulders too. He look a little flaky. Puff it up a little. That receding hairline. Damn it.
Well, bull, I say.
I say.
Well, bull, I say, bull, ma weevil.
Exceptions to the character evidence rule and the hearsay rule for a domestic relationship gone bad in the lead up to a 2nd-degree malice murder. He can't address any of the evidence related to Karen's statements after she did hit John. And he can't even address why Karen won't release the ring videos from her parents' house in Dighton that would show that taillight crack in that early morning. She released a still. She won't release the other videos. She's guilty. He knows she's guilty. He worked for her.
But we know why the taillight was cracked. Right?
Hold on.
We saw excellent evidence of why the taillight was cracked on last Tuesday's show.
Yes.
Go ahead, D. Say what you was gonna say.
Come on, man. If you were looking for an attorney, would you grab this too?
No. Bro, I was just thinking the same shit, man.
Oh, man.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, I feel bad for whoever this guy gets as an attorney, man.
No, I understand he's a law student and all that stuff, but man, and he's trying to make a mark for himself. But you know something? If this goes not in his favor with the non-guilty, he won't what's the word? He won't use his attorney stuff there in New England.
Yeah, absolutely not.
He's going for it all here, Blaze, on his theory, man, and he's sticking to it.
You think so?
Oh yeah, man. Yep. And then if this comes out as a guilty verdict, oh man, you're not going to see enough of this guy.
Right?
Yeah, he's it's kind of blasphemy, man. It's at that level.
This is the kind of lawyer that they have 2 different kinds of lawyers in our system. They have ones that the judge will they just sit there and, yeah, sure, fine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or they have ones that the judge actually pays attention to. This is not the latter. This is the kind of guy who will sue somebody and will throw frivolous lawsuit and collect a $1,500 payoff and a pack of cigarettes and call it a day.
Yes, man. No, he. I don't understand, B. I don't understand
What?
This whole case, man. How they're just going to this little light, and we've seen that the light didn't do it. She cracked the light backing into somebody's car coming out of that garage. You know.
Well,
well, that's what we got here, though, guys. That's what we got here, and yeah, I was looking in the archives for it, but I think I grabbed that one fresh off of YouTube last Tuesday. But I'll find it and we'll have it on record. Anyways, yeah, he's got her clearly in the video that we just watched. I'd have to rewind it and grab it. But we all seen her backing out, right? Okay, so if we were to pause that video at the time, you would see the tire tracks from the black SUV. They go so far back that if you look at the tire tracks, you know that black SUV just backed into that fucking car. Okay, that's if I was to pause that video. Now, the video we had last Tuesday showed in detail, okay, of the car. It was put in slow motion of the black SUV actually bumping into the other SUV, because in slow motion you could see the other SUV's tires roll forward. That's only going to happen if something is pushed up against it, right?
But
that's where the light got cracked.
But yeah, and you sit back, you look at this case, and especially that law student, you see levels of hierarchy here with the government, law enforcement. Talks about federal agents, state police, Boston police, Canton police. You know,
yeah.
You know, but you talk about them levels. You're like, wow, this her sleeping around with a federal agent. That's news to me. But still doesn't change the price of tea in China.
But they were all friends, though. They were all friends. They didn't just happen to meet one another at the bar.
There's a surprise.
They all knew one another.
Someone screwed around with somebody else, some other friend's wife. Yeah, okay. That's a surprise.
But, you know, he didn't say law enforcement. You know, that's what triggered me. He said federal law enforcement.
Right.
No, and shit, dude, this could be a positive for her, because her little fling probably was with the FBI, and the FBI did a grand jury on this on the federal level. And Proctor, Mike Proctor, state trooper. I'm just throwing that out there. He's the lead investigator, and he's real good buddies with the McAlberts. Even like he was a godfather for one of their kids. But I'm lost, Blaze.
But again, they all.
My name is Slowpoke Rodriguez.
So they all know one another. Like I said earlier, it's like this little circle of they all know one another. And so what if she wanted? Listen, the phone call to her sister or whatever, or the message left to her sister, oh, he's a fucking asshole, he's this. And I would, they were probably going to break up anyways if this didn't even happen. If we knew nothing about these people's lives, because she wanted to go with the FBI agent or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. But right here on FFN Network and the way you see it, we'll keep track of it, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoy talking about it tonight. It's an interesting case. Again, and we are going to keep up with it, and because I just hope that they're gonna she doesn't have a chance. if she's going up against government lies, man. She don't have a chance.
Oh, she will, she will, and in the in the I believe the government is on the standby. When they start seeing these lead witnesses start squawking on the box, that is a sworn testimony they're giving.
Right.
And whatever they say here will definitely be replayed when it goes at the federal level.
And let's
Which
not forget. Go ahead.
Which I hope it does, and let's just hope that the FBI's on level scrapes out that cancer.
Yeah, could be. But I had a question. I was thinking about because I heard it, and it is how can one FBI agent rebuttal
Put your tongue and the trigger at the same time. There you go.
rebuttal another FBI agent's testimony? It don't make any sense to me.
I don't know.
Because when remember the FBI agent did this whatever he was an expert. I forget what he was the expert of. Jesus Christ. Anyways, and then the law student that we were listening to was saying, "Oh yeah, but this other FBI, they did it this way." I can't see FBI, making another FBI agent look bad. Type of, you know what I mean? I never heard of that before. The same law enforcement for the prosecutor and the defense.
No, I think
I
that's
might have
the state
misunderstood that. I might have misunderstood that. Yeah, that's possible.
because the prosecution level is at the Commonwealth. That's it. All the investigation, all the filing, and all that is just done with the Commonwealth. The FBI did come in, and they've been hush hush to look at this case and all that. So,
well, that's what the FBI usually does is hush hush until they got something damning. If they got something seriously damning, we'll hear about it.
Damning, all right. When one of their own was screwing around with this guy's wife.
Let's get it. It wasn't his wife. It's his girlfriend.
Girlfriend, wife, whatever.
That doesn't matter. It's a big difference. Big difference from girlfriend and wife.
Not these days.
Yes. Still. Anyways, so yeah, it was a blast talking about this, and again, we'll keep track of it because it's interesting. Number one. Number two, I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in tonight to check out The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. I'd like to thank everybody on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, Facebook, and you know the rest of you all, folks. I'd like to say peace and love. Don't forget to check out the Politicking with Mr. B tomorrow right here on the FFN Network from 7 to 8 p.m., followed by I-12 GIA, Real Talk with Real People, right here from 8 to 9 p.m. on the FFN Network. Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to watch those other shows. Don't forget to watch the Miss Tammy and Blazeman show on Thursday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All our shows are on Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. Again, good night. Thanks for joining, Mr. B.
It's been a great show. Thank you very much for having me in. Tomorrow night, we're going to be keeping up, of course, with what is going on in the ring with all of these colleges going kaplooey on us, and the political aspect of what may be arising from it as well. Tune in. We'll have a great show for you tomorrow night. I'm Mr. D-Man. Thanks very much. Always a pleasure being with you. My friend, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Blaze. I got confused. I see host muted mic and all that. Thank you, B. Thank you, Blaze, man. I really enjoyed tonight's show. You made a comment, Blaze, interesting. The case. It's the society we live in these days, man. And I don't find it interesting. I find it disgusting, abhorrent, appalling, and totally awful. How an organization, the state police, could do that to another individual to protect their own.
Hey, We're about to find out. That's for damn sure.
And I believe the court case starts next week, Monday.
Yep.
They went from 16 to 20 jurors. The judge
Yeah.
sees a problem of them falling out.
Well, we'll see, because we're gonna cover it Tuesday anyway. So everything's gonna be happening Monday, and we'll be
Hey,
we'll
quick
be talking
question.
about it Tuesday.
D,
Yes,
D, I
sir.
want to find out, do you see the judge sequestering this jury?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, it has to. Has to.
Yes.
Be crazy if they didn't.
That's all, folks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, peace and love to each and every one of you out there. We'll catch you next Tuesday on The Way We See It, right here on the FFN Network.
You have just watched an FFN Network production.